The Bible tells us that when Jesus was in town, people took notice. He frequently attracted a crowd of people who wanted to see what he would do next. Although not everyone believed that Jesus was the Son of God, they couldn't deny that his miracles were supernatural. John chapter 6 tells us about one of those miracles, a supernatural lunch. One day, Jesus and his disciples crossed the Galilee Sea and walked up a mountain. They weren't alone, however. As Jesus looked up, he saw a large crowd coming toward him. I said a large crowd came toward him? It was more like 5,000 men, plus women and children. So that meant there were a lot of people. Jesus was a great host, however. He didn't want any of his guests to go hungry. Jesus didn't have a personal chef or caterer, however.
What?
So he turned to one of his disciples, Philip, and asked him, "Where should we buy food to feed this crowd?" Really, Jesus already knew how he was going to feed the crowd. He simply wanted to test Philip. Philip tried to quickly add up the cost of feeding the large crowd. He said, "Even if there was a food truck parked right there, it would take half a year's salary to pay for enough food for all these people." While Philip was still thinking about the cost, Andrew went searching for whatever food he could find. Surely someone had packed a sandwich, granola bar, or even a breath mint. Although he didn't find any of those things, he did find a small lunch brought by one of the children. Did I mention that it was a small lunch? It was only 5 small pieces of bread and 2 little fish. What good is that for a crowd this big? This is when Jesus launched Operation Feed the Crowd. It was one of the earliest outdoor potluck lunches ever recorded. The only thing on the menu was bread and fish. Of course, 5 small loaves of bread and 2 little fish wasn't enough food for 5,000 men, plus women and children. But in the hands of Jesus, miracles happen. And wow, did it happen on this day. Jesus took the food and thanked God. Then he passed around the food so everyone could get as much as they wanted. Some people in the back were probably getting a little nervous, but when Jesus caters an event, you never run out of good food. In fact, when everyone had all the food they wanted to eat, Jesus asked his disciples to bust the tables. No, I said they bust the tables. That means they cleaned up after everyone ate their meal. So the disciples picked up all that was left over, and they had 12 full baskets of food left over. Jesus turned division of food into multiplication of food. It was a fantastic miracle that reminds us that even when a little is given to God, it can grow much more than we could ever imagine. And that's how it happened in the Bible.